what if there's another formula besides the harder you work, the more successful you are? The harder you work, the more money you make.
Absolutely. The fact that the majority of the people are generators, it doesn't mean that this is the ultimate way. This is where we all were mistaken as a projectors, because we wanted to follow the formula that works for the majority of people without really understanding what is our essence, what is our authenticity.
There's projectors that are successful. They did it and acted like a generator, and they're hospitalized or their life ends shorter. You can see that. I am a biohacker and I have a doctorate in clinical psychology. I literally used human design to get younger.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Women Who Lead. This episode I am recording with Dr. Julia, and we're going to be talking about projectors. What is the role of the projectors? How they lead? What is their role in leadership? What is the self-value of the projectors? And before we're going to start, I want to say that we are both projectors. So just pay attention how we are, how we speak, how we communicate, and let's dive deeper. So I would like for you to explain to all of us, people who are already familiar with human design and people who are not, who is the projector?
So the projector, short, is one of four types. So there's four types in human design, and the projector is about 21 to 22% of the population. And they are the type that do not have this motor, this energy. So they typically don't work 8, 10, 12 hours a day. They are a guide, they're an advisor. They come in and they're just the consultant for a project, or they just consult for an hour and a half and then they take a coffee break. So a lot of people think of them as like therapists or professors, anybody in like this advisory consultant role. Yes, they typically guide the masses, guide the 70%.
Projectors. What I find to be interesting is that projectors are quite often misunderstood.
Yes, they
by
are.
many people because it's only 20%.
Yes.
And projectors, they're slightly different, not in a way that they're better or worse.
No.
It's just they have a very particular energy that is not very understandable when you communicate with this type of person. And I say it as me being a projector, and you're also the projector. So we're really know what we're talking about because we are these people.
Yeah.
And there is one big misconception about projectors, and I deal with it every single time when I communicate with other types of people. And they say that projectors, they project. And when I have a conversation with someone and I say something, people may say like, how? You're the projector, you're projecting on me. Don't do this.
A lot of people understand projection as a psychology term, like I'm projecting my unresolved issues onto somebody else. Think of it more like an overhead projector when you're doing a presentation. A projector actually sheds light outwards. And that's why in the business term, it's called an advisor. But in human design, there is some lingo that is easily confused, but it's not the psychology term of I'm projecting onto you at all. I think we're almost like a lighthouse. A lighthouse shines light out and we shed a light on things. And so when we can shed a light on things, we can also advise and consult more easily. And we also see everything. So it's not the psychology term projector at all.
What is it so special about projectors? What is their unique value that they can bring? We're talking about leadership, right? When they are being part of the team, when they're being part of the business meeting. Can you share?
Yes. So part of the value for projectors is they are thought to be like, they have this viewpoint where they can see how the whole organization works because they kind of can conceptualize it. They see everything. So if you were designing a corporation, I would say if you're going to delegate so many employees to so many different tasks, I would say in a corporation, you need one, maybe two projectors that run departments, maybe a couple reflectors, but you need most of your staff needs to be generators or manifesting generators. And they guide. So in human design, there's this thing called strategy. So we're here to be recognized and invited. And then when we're recognized for our wisdom. When we're recognized for our talent or skills or abilities, then we get invited to consult on something. Now, actually, with generators, I know we're not going to talk a lot about them today, their strategy is to respond. So, in an interesting way, it's a great little mashup because you have all these people waiting, give me something to respond to. And we're like, okay, I'm going to give you something to respond to because you recognized and invited me. So it really works well for projectors to advise the people that are like waiting for, like, I need a question, I need a project, I need some data.
I
And
see.
yeah,
I see. So, is it true that projectors are naturally very compatible with generators?
well, generators do love us projectors. If you're single and dating, and you're a projector, don't worry. The generators will invite you, invite you, invite you. We're not
Right.
supposed to ask them out on a date, because projectors all have. I call our aura. Our aura is actually kind of circular, and it actually comes to kind of a point. So it's almost like my aura is like pointing at your, like, we call it your G center, but it's like kind of like your heart. And everybody loves to be on the receiving end of a projector's aura. It's like, I see you, I hear you, I respect you, I'm listening to you. I'm not paying attention to anything else going on. I'm just here with you. I mean, who doesn't love that? But
I
generators
see.
definitely, and then generators kind of subconsciously have this question like, who am I? So that mashup of like, I see you, they want to be seen, but they want to figure themselves out. So, um, yeah, it is a great little combination in, like, especially in like work environments, and especially with like a therapist and a patient.
Absolutely.
A lot of times a therapist is a projector, and
Yeah.
all the patients are these generators who are like, who am I? And we're like, I see you, I value you, I hear you.
I can totally relate to what you're saying. In my life, there are many generators, and it seems like there is something special, and it's a very unique bond when projector meets a generator, and the generator is very much aligned, and the projector is very much aligned. Because sometimes what happens with projectors, especially, is that they don't really understand how to channel their energy.
Mm.
They don't really understand their unique design. And what happens is that, as they say, projector can be bitter.
Mm.
I remember this term when I
Yep.
was learning about human design. That used to be me. And I know how does it feel for the projector to be not visible and when people don't recognize you.
Mhm.
I think that this is one of the biggest pain of the projector and something that projector needs to learn and to master.
Mhm.
Tell us a little bit more about this bitterness of the projector, and of course, what projectors should do,
Mhm.
how they should navigate themselves
Mhm.
to be recognized, to be seen.
Mhm. So every type has what we call a signature, and I call it like a little pendulum. For projectors, it goes bitterness, success, bitterness, success. And we always want all of our interactions to be more successful and less bitter. But most projectors are like, I do know that flavor of bitterness, and I definitely don't like it. But when we are feeling bitter, it usually means we're in the wrong place at the wrong time with the wrong people. And that's when your car gets towed, because you're not in flow with where you're supposed to be. Probably ties in a lot with numerology, but I know we'll get into that in a little
Yeah.
bit. So the signature is something interesting, and all the different types have different signatures. But I think what you're talking about also is a lot of projectors are, how do I get more recognition and how do I get more invitations, which is how do I get seen for my talent, skills, and abilities. So if you think about it in just like casual terms, the people that are experts in their field, the people get well known for what you're good at. You get well known for, you're really well known for being a numerologist. And if we just continue to study and research and like hone our craft, you're going to be you're going to get a reputation for being the best at what you do. And if you're the best at what you do, or if you're just really highly skilled at your own take on something, people will hear about it and you'll get referrals. And that is the best, hack. I'm a biohacker, by the way. The best hack for a projector to get more recognition, to get more invitations, to get hired and make money is just be really good at your thing. Now, a lot of projectors are good at a lot of things. So you want to be careful when you're posting on Instagram. You really want to try to talk about as little I know you can do 10 things, I can do 10 things, but we have to kind of like niche it down for, the rest of the world to
Narrow it down.
understand. And when you're really good at one thing, I mean, you're going to get the recognition and you're going to get invitations. So a lot of times projectors will say, well, what do I do while I'm waiting and waiting and waiting to be
Mm.
recognized? Study, just, become really good at what you do. And the invitations will come because everybody wants to go to the best person in town. Like, I want the best plumber to do my plumbing. And it's a different way to market. And so, yes, we shouldn't take all these marketing classes because it doesn't really apply to our type. So I hope that kind of answered the question.
Absolutely, it does make sense. I'm going to share my personal experience is being a projector, and I'm projector free 5, which is all about the experiments and trials and errors. So
Mhm.
I have 5 degrees, which is quite a few.
Wow.
And the reason why it happened is because I was trying to find what is it that I like, what is it that really, really brings me passion in life. And I think now, looking back, I see one mistake that I used to
Mm.
do as the projector. I was not consistent enough. I was not devoted enough to one path. So, what I did, I was jumping from one to another to the next one because as a projector, I was waiting for the invitation. I wanted to be seen, I wanted to be recognized.
Yeah.
And I was not patient enough.
Mm.
That's why I was switching gears. I was exploring so many areas because projectors, they can do it. Projectors, they can sit, they can dive deep, they
Mm.
can go deep. And
Mhm.
especially, about this depth, you're code 7 in numerology. I'm code 7 as well, but mine is 16. You are actually pure code 7. And code 7 just by itself, it's the people who are very good at doing certain researches and development. It's like a scientific number, science, but at the same time an oracle guide. So this has been my me misunderstanding my
Mhm.
design
Mhm.
and trying things. It's good.
Mhm.
I have an experience now. I know this, I know this, I know this. And what happened in the end is that I was able to put it all together and created one very unique offering to my
Mhm.
clients. So it was part of the design. So what I want to say that, guys, if this is something that you experience, it's all good. There's probably the higher reason why this is happening. So don't freak out. But for other projectors, I think that you mentioned a really important message that it is about focusing. It is about knowing what brings you joy, and it is about dedication, devotion to
Yeah.
be good so other people can recognize,
Yeah.
right?
And whatever you're studying or focusing, you have to enjoy it and love it enough that you would do it for free, or you would do it anyways. Like, um, I mean, when
Uh,
you see me reading human design and psychology journals on the beach, like I'm relaxing on the beach and like
yeah,
this is what I'm choosing to study. And that happens to be what most of my clients come to me for, psychology or human design. Yeah.
I see. Yeah, it's a very good factor how to know if this is something that really brings you joy. It's something that you do regardless
Mhm.
if people pay you money or not, if you're being booked or not.
Mhm.
So, and this is usually something that projectors can go deeper to explore this area and just to become really, really good at. So
Mhm.
naturally good. So the aura just speaks for themselves when they just enter the room or space. It's your perfume. To me, it's like wearing this perfume,
Mhm.
uh, and this perfume represents something that you're really passionate about, something that you really like.
Yeah. Yeah, like if you really listen to what your friends ask you advice about, even what your mom or just even what your clients are asking you for, like you've already got a reputation for knowing about that, or they're coming to ask you because they know you know more than I do in this area. So it's like, sometimes if people think I'm so confused, I could do essential oils, I could do numerology, I could do human design, I could be a biohacker. It's like, what are people asking you advice for? And you feel like I should be charging them for this. That if it's something you love, like that's your thing to geek out on. So
Absolutely.
It takes a little bit of experimenting. We don't have a crystal ball and we can't predict the future. And we haven't done our numerology reading with you yet. So, some of us are fumbling around trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
But now they can just book an appointment with you and know what to do.
Absolutely.
But code 7, everybody, code 7.
Code 7. Numerology is a beautiful tool that actually I feel can complement human design, because numerology does bring clarity. And right now we're going to dive deeper into the different types of design, because we also have generators, we have manifestors, we have reflectors. And I want you to say just a few words about these types, how they're different. And then we're going to dive deeper into numerology, and I will share some information about the numbers that can be really, really helpful.
Yeah, no, I wish I met you 10 years ago, because I would have experienced a lot less bitterness if I would have booked something with you. But yeah, let me
I was busy learning 5 different directions, different expertises. And yeah, but it's all good. We met each other in the perfect timing.
Yeah. So the 4 types in human design, it is a little confusing because there are only 4 types. And the 4 types are different basically because their energy works different. And we use like a visual representation of the aura. So the aura works differently. So there's manifestors. They have this aura that actually kind of repels outward, which is kind of like when you think of a speaker, music comes out of a speaker in a wave towards you. That's the manifestor. They also don't have a lot of energy, and that's what makes them different. They don't have the energy like a generator. A generator, and that also includes manifesting generators, they're the same type, because their aura is the same. It's very open and enveloping, and they can work those 10, 12 hour. I mean, they built this. I mean, the things that you see that take labor to build, generators built those things. Even in business, we call them builders and express builders. Let me go back. Manifestors are called innovators, or sometimes they call them influencers, but they kind of get things going. They're that flint. And then we have reflectors, which are actually more rare. They're only about, it's about 1% of the population, and they don't have any definition in their chart at all. And when you think of the word reflector, they really mirror back what they see in the world. And those would be somebody that, like, if you're in a corporation and you hire a consultant to just come in 4 times a year, but it's an outside consultant and they just see all the flaws in your business, and then they give you a 15-page report and they charge you $10,000 for it, and it'll be worth every penny. Reflectors are also really good at like being social workers with children. They just really are good at reflecting back. And their energy works a little slower. It works with the cycles of the moon. So we have the projectors, advisors, we have the generators, builders, we have the manifestors, the innovators, and then we have the reflectors. We also call them kind of the evaluators. So those are the 4 types. And they're
So I have a question. The role of the reflector and the projector, you say that reflector, they also see something that is not working, but projectors, they also can see some things that no one else can. It's like they go beyond to see the entire picture from above. Then how they're different?
Yeah, that's a good question. I will tell you, reflectors are more like just mirroring back exactly what they see. Projectors often see things, but also kind of have like a different like solution to it. Like, here's a solution, here's a solution. If you just want a report of what somebody sees, like I have a client, and he's a reflector, and he, even with his friends, he's like, I just want to tell my friends what's wrong with them. Don't you want to fix this about yourself? And I'm like, maybe you need to ask permission. Do they want your opinion? But it's just very accurate, like a mirror. It doesn't expand much more, and it doesn't give solutions. And but this is also for like maybe another podcast, and just to go deeper into the differences. Now the reflectors also, they move slow. They're with 28-day cycle of the moon, very slow. They're very relaxed. They're so chill. They're so content, and it is a different way they work.
You said something very interesting. When we look at the corporate structure, you said that there is a certain formula or the proportional level of how many generators there's nice to have, projectors, reflectors. So can you tell us a little bit more about this formula for a good, healthy corporate structure or business or company?
Mhm. So it's actually another part of human design is called BG5, which is the Business Institute. And we use different words. Like we call this penta. A penta is a group of 3 to 5 people. And then when you have two groups of 3 to 5, which would be, 6 to 10, they become what's called an OC16. And then when you start to get these groups of like 3 to 5, 3 to 5, 3 to 5, you also then need like an alpha. Otherwise, it's just a bunch of bumbling idiots not figuring stuff out. So there is basically kind of business group dynamics, but human design or the Business Institute has different terminology and also has seen these group dynamics and how they kind of cluster together. Like I know places like Google, they already do this. They have people working in, they call it pods already, which is a pod is also like a penta, a group of 3 to 5 people. And then once you get to so many, then the group becomes its own entity. They call it like a WA. The terminology is kind of silly, but you see how like when you get to a certain number of people, somebody has to rise up and lead. And so whoever is rising up to lead should be a certain type or should have certain characteristics in their chart to be a good leader. So if you think of somebody has the energy to work, well, we want to keep them working. We're not going to promote somebody who has all this energy to just sit up in the office and just give advice. Like, oh, that'd be such a waste of resources. But somebody that doesn't have the energy, like you and I, but we just get to wear, beautiful like suits and hot shoes, and we don't have the energy to work and nail and build, we should be advising. And if somebody put me in the role of like, get out in the fields and pick the crops, I would probably have immune disorders. I would probably have catch every flu that comes around, and I would have adrenal fatigue, and I would have burnout, and I would be asking human resources for every mental health day off because I am hired and working in a way that doesn't sustain my energy. So, does that answer your question? Sorry,
Absolutely.
I went off on a
I
tangent
also,
a little bit.
I can also, and I would like to add something.
Hmm.
This has been my observation and my experience, personal
Mm.
experience. As a projector, I used to act and live more as a generator. And I know that it's a very common thing. Again, why does it happen? Because I wanted to be recognized, I wanted to be seen. And we still live and function in a world that is heavily supporting tangible results and
Hmm.
productivity. So if you don't show a tangible results, if you're not being productive, then what is your value? Right? And this is what happens. And we all know that. It's a pretty masculine driven leadership environment. So what I decided being as a projector that if I'm just going to sit and wait to be seen and recognized, it's never going to happen. I will go and I will push hard and I will work and I will show that I am worthy enough. You can do it. And I did it. My last year was me being deeply into my generator mode.
Hmm.
I received really nice results. True, this works.
Yeah.
But um, my body,
How did you feel?
my body
Hmm.
was absolutely not happy.
Hmm.
And the thing is that I have this knowledge. I know how it works, but still, it was an experiment for me.
Hmm.
So there is a very, very fine line for the projector. And it's I feel like it's a lesson that we all need to learn, and it's a lot about faith, and it's all about knowing who you are, knowing your value,
Hmm.
and being confident enough that if you are not being seen, if you're not being invited, there is nothing wrong with you. It just, as you said before, maybe this is not the right place where you need to be, right?
First off, a lot of what you were starting to talk about is the conditioning world. The conditioning world and what we see the majority doing. So, generators are 70% of the population. So, we're going to see that marketing and that advertising, that hustle culture because they can hustle. Like, good for them. And I see that us projectors need to focus on deconditioning and also just reminding ourselves and even supporting each other. Like, why are you working so hard? And is that working for you? And how's your health? So we have to, as projectors, remember, like, do we need to decondition? Like, my whole family is generators. I'm the only projector in my family. I grew up on a farm. I was like, work, 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 and I did because I didn't have a choice. A lot of my book is about just reminding people of what our themes are, what our strategy is, what our authority is, so we can continue to be reminded to decondition, to be authentically ourselves, and then just trust it's going to work out and you won't have adrenal fatigue. It is a different formula for projectors. It's not a popular formula. It isn't talked about a lot because there's only 20, 21% of us. Most everything we see on any social media platform or marketing or sales training is towards the masses, because if I'm going to make any product, I want the masses to buy it. So there isn't a lot of specialized coaching or support or marketing for projectors. There's an unmet need there in the marketplace. So it is a little bit of like, I have to remind myself that I don't have the energy to sustain it, but also, what if there's another formula besides the harder you work, the more successful you are, the harder you work, the more money you make? What if that's one way, not like the only way? Maybe there's multiple ways to be successful and take a nap in the afternoon. So it's a little bit of deconditioning, but you said the word faith, but you have to be kind of open minded to, I might be wrong. And maybe if I did it a different way, I might also be equally successful. And there are a lot of, I think Obama and he is a projector, and there's a lot of famous projectors. Marilyn Monroe is a projector. Like, there's people that are successful in the world that are, President of the United States, there's projectors that are successful. They just have a different style of doing it, or they did it and acted like a generator and they're hospitalized or their life ends shorter. You can see that, Marilyn Monroe, I think she tried too hard. Attention, recognize me, invite me. And she kind of over sexualized herself because she just couldn't wait and trust that she's a good actress, wait and trust that she's a smart woman. Or so, you can see examples, and we can talk about that another time, that aren't doing it the way they should. And how's that working out for them? But yeah, it does take a little bit of just like, you have to, have a moment with yourself and remember, like, I don't have to get into that conditioning world, and I don't have to try to be a generator. But it's so easy because it's just all over the place. Grind, hashtag hustle, kill it, get up 4 a.m. club. There's so much of it right now. It's like, just if you're great at what you do, you're going to be successful. And also, if you work your booty off, you're going to be successful. But there's two different ways. It's not the only way.
Absolutely. What I see here is that, as you said, first of all, we do need to understand that we are all different when it comes to leadership, when it comes to us leading our lifestyle, leading other people, building the companies, leading our family, being a mom with the children and husband and all that. And we are different. And the fact that the majority of the people are generators, it doesn't mean that this is the ultimate way that we should all follow. And this is where we all were mistaking as a projectors, because we wanted to follow the formula that works for the majority of people without really understanding what is our essence, what is our authenticity. And if there is one message that I would like to share with all of you, guys, really learn about your authentic way of leading. This channel is all about leadership. This series is all about leadership. And I myself support leaders, Julia as well. We want to make sure that you know your own authentic way of leading. In numerology, we use numbers that stay in the date of your birth. And if, for example, someone has a code of 1, it means that these people are naturally leading through the actions. They initiate and they invite other people to follow them. This is a very common thing for code number 1. If we're talking about code number 7, which is you and me, the way we lead, it's called inner leadership. What we do is that we like to stay in our own bubble, to contemplate life, to observe what is happening around us, to observe people, and then come back to the world and say, like, hey, this is the pattern that I'm noticing, and this is how we can change it. And usually code 7 sees something that other numbers cannot. It's the oracle number. If we're talking about code number 3, leadership, these people lead through through their voice and the way how they communicate. One of the best communicators. Code number 8, for example, CEO people and authority. You see, so we are so different.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that someone leads in one way and it works doesn't mean that it's going to work for us.
Mm-hmm.
If you're going to try to become CEO or I'm going to try to become CEO, well, I mean, we can try.
Mm-hmm.
And if we have enough fiery energy in us, maybe we can succeed. But exactly, we will have to pay for this success. And how do we pay for this success when it's not aligned with our essence, our body and health?
Mm-hmm.
Quite often, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm.
This is just the end result.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What is the first step that people can do when it comes to human design?
Mm-hmm.
To understand better who they are?
Yeah. I mean, the first is to find out, what type you are. And there's so many, I mean, I'm going to put them on my website soon, but there's probably 4 sites that I know of that you can run your chart for free. I think you can even put it in a chat or any AI now and you can run your chart for free. The most important part is if you happen to have your birth certificate that has your accurate time of birth, that is best. But I know that if you just know that day you were born and you don't know what time, you still can probably be pretty certain that you'll get your type. And just with your type alone, you know how your energy works. You know what your aura is like. You know if you should be an advisor or if you should be a builder or an express builder. I know myself and a couple other analysts, anybody that's a certified analyst as well that has paid for the special software. We can do a birth time, they call it a reliability score.
Mm-hmm.
So if people don't have a clue, or my mom said I was maybe born in the morning, I can put it into my software program. And then with a series of kind of interview questions, I can kind of narrow it down to this is probably the deeper things in your chart. So finding out what, just like in astrology, I found out I'm an Aries, that helps me a lot. Find out your type and then just start there with like, what is my strategy? What is my authority for this type? For projectors, it's wait to be invited and then, of course, getting recognition first, because that's how you get invited. But for generators, it's responding. A lot of generators want to invent and create and manifest. Actually, no, you have to be responding to something before you can manifest. Where manifestors are the only type, and they're actually only 9% of the population, they're the only ones that can actually instantly manifest because they chose to. And then reflectors have to like hear it and then wait a month before they kind of really take action on big things. So just even experimenting and practicing with like how you do things in life, when you move to a different city, when you accept a proposal to marriage, you want to make sure you're following your kind of your strategy and just see how that feels. It's like, oh, this works. This works. Like, wow, I was going to burn up all this energy running around like a chicken with my head cut off. And like, I could have just sat and read a book, So it can be really time saving and energy saving when we just start to experiment first with the suggestions of what your type is. So yeah, go run your free chart on the internet and start there.
If you would like to understand the numeric meaning that stands in your date of birth, because it's slightly different. It shows different patterns that repeat themselves in your life constantly. So here we're talking more about a certain like karmic loops or repeated patterns and actions, and we can explain why they're happening, and so you can make certain changes that will help you to become more centered, more aligned, and more visible to other people in a very authentic way. This is very important because we can be very visible, we can be very bright, but is it our color? Is it our true color? This is the big question, and this is what we all need to do, especially in 2026. This is the year of the leadership. This is the year of the fire in numerology. Mm-hmm. And we will all have to go through a certain process of refinement to reestablish our connection with our inner leadership. Many of us are doing some incredible things, and it feels like this path really works, but there is no end. We can always go deeper and dive deeper to explore new versions of ourselves, new talents, and how we can bring more value into this world. Mm-hmm. I will share a PDF file that you can download. And this PDF file has the codes from 1 till 9 that are connected with your date of birth. And every single code tells you a little bit more about your unique way of leadership. Just download it. It's open. It's on my website. And learn about these codes. Also, having this information will help you to understand about other people that you are communicating, other people that you're hiring, other people that you are maybe considering. So you can understand what is the value, what is the potential of this person. This is so important. And I really, really think that these systems of human design, the system that you work with, the system of numerology is the future, is something that every single corporate world should have, because it just brings so much clarity
Mm.
um, to make right decisions.
Mhm.
It is about authenticity. It's not about competition. It's not about that. It's about knowing what is your natural talent. Then it's just about going, living, experimenting, getting more experience in what you do, and deep faith, deep knowing that I am worthy always.
I have to just say one thing about, you said the word decisions, and that is the one thing I talk a lot about if in somebody's first session with me, or if I do a corporate workshop. I always talk about this system can help you make better decisions for yourself. And if you think of a day, I'm even deciding, should I push snooze or not before I'm even out of bed. I'm making a decision. So if you have like this guidance to help you make better decisions for you, I mean, that is a game changer right there. And especially if you bring it to like a business meeting, like everybody needs to vote and make their own decision. You want to make a decision that's right for you and your team, not people please the boss. So there is like just even a beginning, like, oh, I can feel more confident about this is a good decision, not just people pleasing, but for everybody and mainly for me. So,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Absolutely. I think that we always have all the answers that we're looking for. And of course, we can connect with our intuition, that deeper knowing that everyone is talking about. But for some people, it's hard, because when you work with a human design, you see certain aspects of yourself that you cannot just say no. It's just, this is who you are. You know, it's this is who you are, and you feel this connection with this information that you receive and see in body graph. Same with numbers. When you see your patterns, when you see the situations that are repeatedly happening in your life every 9 years, I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Of course, there is a certain truth about it.
Yeah. When I meet with a client for the very first time and I just say, well, this is in your chart or this is in your chart. And then I just give a couple examples and I describe it. It's amazing how many times I've seen people like, I can really be that way. I kind of felt like that's how I want to live or that's what I want to be. And I'm like, well, it's in your chart. Yeah, of course you should be acting and living that way and making your decisions that way. And they're like, really? Like, it's almost like I gave them permission to decondition, but it almost, I have to say, the word that comes up to describe when I'm giving somebody their first kind of introduction, they feel validated. They kind of had a hunch and they kind of had a guess and they kind of were, yeah, they kind of intuited. But when I like, here it says you should do this, or this is how you should decide, and this is where you should eat, and this is the environment you should live in, like, oh, I can. I'm not like, almost like I'm not going to get in trouble. Like, no, it's in your chart. You're supposed to live this way. Like, oh,
This is
it's like, it's almost like
validation.
it's good news and they feel like I set them free. Like, I can really just be me. I'm like, yeah, that's the whole point. We're supposed to just be you, but and then I can see like they've been just living under the shroud of conditioning. I'm like, you can go be you.
This is a
It's neat. Yeah.
confirmation.
Yeah.
This is a big confirmation and reassurance
Mhm.
for many people. And I think that these tools are truly, truly incredible.
Mhm.
These tools help me when I was completely lost and disoriented in my life. Human design was one of the tools that helped me to understand that, well, I'm not like everyone else. I need to wait for the invitation. So for the last quite a few years, I
Mm.
was practicing to be patient enough to be invited, to be seen when the time is right. And if no one sees me, that's okay. It doesn't mean that I don't bring value, that I'm not worthy. No, it's about deep knowing that you are worthy as long as you follow your truth, as long as you follow your soul. It's all about timing. It's all about timing and deep trust. Just go and do the thing that you do, and the thing that you enjoy doing is exactly what you said.
Yeah, like for projectors, like we're kind of addressing today, for projectors, think of a time when you weren't recognized and you weren't invited and you went to the party anyways. Like that bitterness, like, ugh, that can be eliminated and you can start to discern, and we all sometimes learn through trial and error. Nobody likes somebody who crashes your wedding. It's like, I don't want to go to a party I wasn't invited to. But so, I mean, that's what can be beautiful. If you don't have that recognition and that invitation, save your energy. But a lot of us have tried to be like included and talk too much and answer more than the question, and like it's not a good look.
You gave a really beautiful example. I think that one of the biggest bitterness that projector can feel is when projector goes against his or her true nature.
Mm-hmm.
It's when you feel in your bones that something is off and you still choose to go and show up just because you want to be recognized and seen. And then you come back home and you feel so bitter and you feel that you went against yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Yourself. And then all these achievements and these results and this recognition that we receive following this path, it doesn't feed our soul.
You can get a bad reputation too. Like, there she comes. Who invited her? Yeah.
So we need to be really, really careful. Mm-hmm. There is something very special that we would like to mention, and what we're offering together with Dr. Julie. We, as we said, two projectors that know exactly how does it feel to be unrecognized, not worthy. And we found a way. We found a way that works for us as a projectors, and we have the professional tools that we share with people. Once a month, we host a workshop for the projectors, where we come together and we share our knowledge, our experience to support projectors to find their self-worth, to find clarity that they're looking for, and just to create the container where we all feel each other, appreciate each other, when we need reassurance, when we need some clarity, using the tools of human design and numerology. And this is such a big project that we do, and I am very passionate about it. If you would like to join our next workshop, please leave your email. I will leave the link in the caption and we will send you all the information, and of course we will be happy to see you there, because in numerology we say that starting in 2027 it's going to be the era of the projectors. The projectors are going to be very much visible, very much needed, more than any time before, because the time is shifting and the way how we lead and the leadership is shifting. Mm-hmm. And we do need slightly different energies, not just the high achievement, pushing, go forward, no pain, no gain. No, mm-hmm. We need more flow. We need more soul. We need more pause.
Mm-hmm. That was officially, you are recognized and you are invited from her.
Absolutely. From us, both of us, you are invited. Yeah. And please tell us a little bit more about this incredible book.
Oh, thank you. So I am a biohacker and I have a doctorate in clinical psychology. So I've been doing these cheek swabs to measure my biological age compared to my chronological age. And I followed the deeper suggestions of my human design chart, which give me suggestions for digestion and environment. And when I followed these to a T, in a 3-month period of time, I was able to get younger from a cheek swab test that I sent to a lab at Harvard University by 15 months. And all of my friends were like, you should write a book. I'm like, no, that's work. That's for generators. And I was like, one page at a time, I ended up writing a book. So this is kind of how I use my human design chart to get younger, using the deeper, we call them the variables. And I might talk about that in the future, but I literally used human design to get younger. And this is the book that talks about how I did that. So
this is incredible.
Thank you.
This is incredible. We really, really much, we do need this book. And of course, the link will be in the caption. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for sharing your wisdom, your knowledge, your experience, being so open. And thank you guys for watching us. Please follow this channel, follow the links, get all this information and resources that can help you on your path. And I will see you in the next episode of Women Who Lead. Thank you.